What are some interesting or fun Christmas traditions you follow? Oh my gosh, I love this. When we were younger, my parents had a tradition with us. We would always go out into the front yard with my dad to find the perfect pine cone. Maybe a week or two before Christmas, we planted the pine cone in a pot and watered it. Then overnight, it would become this magnificent, huge to my young eyes, and fully decorated Christmas tree. It only worked in December and we were always told it was the Christmas magic. Then my sister and I figured it out when we found pine needles in my parents' car, haha. I was sent out to find pine needles in the back park a day or two before Christmas. They were allegedly for reindeer snacks, and they had to fill this big wicker basket that was normally full of magazines. Turned out, years later, that it was to get me out of the house, while my mom transferred wrapped presents from the neighbor's garage into our house, as I always tried to find and open any gifts that I snooped on before Christmas Day. Lol, you had to do manual labor because you were such an impatient little shit. You played yourself, and you didn't even know it. We have signs all over our house spelling out Leon instead of Noel. It started out as a joke because my dad is dyslexic, but it stuck, and we even named our dog Leon, and we've been doing it since I can remember. I always changed my mother-in-law's Noel candles to say Elno. She would ask me if I did it, and I'd say Elno. She found me amusing, and I miss her. 28 years ago I was one of the first 100 customers at an Heb grand opening. For that honor I got 2 cans of this potted meat. That Christmas we had a fun dollar store white elephant exchange with the family Christmas Eve. I wrapped a can of the potted meat as my contribution. My mom got it and got a real kick out of it. She immediately re-gifted it to me the next day. Well, next year I wrapped it and gave it to my sister. The year after that she wrapped it and gave it to my dad. For the last 28 years this has been the most coveted gift of Christmas. I gave it to my son last year and he happily wrapped it for his cousin this Christmas. Every year my family buys each other member a gag/joke/small gift, then writes a poem about it for the recipient to read on Christmas Eve. It's probably the highlight of the entire season for me, as it's always filled with laughter at how terrible we all are at poetry. No matter how old we all get, this is a really fun way to bring everyone back to that root joy of spending time together. This year it will be virtual, but still fun. Do you leave the presents under the poetry? Wife and I order from the same Chinese restaurant every Christmas Eve. We eat from there almost exclusively on Christmas Eve. We don't do much Chinese through the year regularly. Started one Christmas Eve when we were both feeling lazy and hasn't stopped. 12 plus years now. Are a traditional Jewish Christmas. Source, I'm Jewish. I learned this when Alina Kagan was doing her hearing to be confirmed to the Supreme Court. They asked her what she did on Christmas, and she said, you know, like all Jews I was probably at a Chinese restaurant. We hide a pickle in the Christmas tree. The person who finds it gets an extra present. Lol, a pickle shaped ornament or an actual pickle? We have a pickle shaped ornament, but I love pickles, and I'm now contemplating doing the pickle thing differently this year. Something a little different I suppose. We always have lasagna Christmas Eve day before Christmas Eve. We also open our presents Christmas Eve instead of Christmas Day, but on Christmas Day we would always go to our grandparents' house to open presents with them. Huh, is it normal to open presents in Christmas Day 25th where you live? Here in Germany, it's normal to have presents on Christmas Eve 24th, but my family always does it on Christmas Day instead, which is strange here. I think it's normal in America at least to open them Christmas Day, but I've also known a few families that do it Christmas Eve instead. Usually it's because they're doing something with grandparents or something on Christmas Day though. My uncle always hosts Christmas at his house, since family comes from all over, and he has beds for everyone to stay over. On his property is about an 150-foot diameter pond. Every Christmas morning we wake up and build a giant bonfire to get ready for the impending shock we will feel later on around noon. We also try to get a decent drunk blanket going for those that are of our family's required drinking age just in case. Come noon on Christmas Day, we do the polar plunge to rid ourselves of last year's crap and look forward to next year. We huddle around this bonfire while my grandpa passes around shots to help warm up because that pond is ducking freezing. Of our family's required drinking age. The way you worded that makes me wonder what that age is. I guess it's lower than the legal drinking age. Correct. If you can get drafted you should be able to have a beer. Yeah, the US drinking age is pretty wackio. Can I have a beer? No, but you can bear the full responsibility of a firearm and kill people for our country's interests. LMAO. My family has a tradition of leaving riddles on cards and guessing what the gift is before opening. We go around one by one, reading our hint out loud so everyone can guess, then open it and show the room. Ends up taking like 5 hours for everyone to get through their gifts, but it's always a fun time. This sounds really cool. With my dad the tradition has been that he always gives me a pair of pajamas along with whatever else. With my mom it's always been a tradition to go to a movie on Christmas Day, which also happens to be her birthday. It's part of a tradition we have where we watch a movie together on each other's birthday. Of course this year that's out of the question, but we are probably just gonna get HBO and watch the new Wonder Woman on the couch instead. My own personal tradition is to get drunk while watching Bad Santa. I love that movie and it's a fun one to drink along with. As soon as this pandemic is over and we can once again have Christmas gatherings, my sister and I can get back to smacking the hell out of each other with cardboard wrapping paper tubes. We are in our 50s, BTW. Each year we cut a round off the bottom of our Christmas tree. We label it with the year. Over time it makes a sweet display, a reminder of years past. My wife and I started doing this after we got married. We also got a wood burning tool to engrave the year and an image to represent something significant from the year, then turn them into ornaments. For instance, when we traveled a lot one year we did a compass. Every year for the last 8 years my sister and I gift each other a weird thing that makes the other one laugh. It started with when our house almost got repossessed just before Christmas and everything was so terrible that we just wanted to make each other laugh. Highlights include 12 packs of frozen potato smiley faces to resolve a long forgotten childhood argument, 3 chocolate tubes filled with teeny rubber ducks instead of chocolate, a lucky dip which involved hiding small gifts in socks, and this year a bag of potatoes with Nicolas Cage's face blue tacked on every individual potato. Shake up present. Shake present. Ask yes or no questions. You figure it out before Christmas. You open it. I like this. I'm guessing at least at some point someone wrapped something super fragile for the joke, right? Not yet, but the gist of it is you want to stump the person. Sometimes we count questions. Sometimes we time it. My record is 3 minutes on a pack of lightsaber chopsticks. You gotta be specific too, or you can't open it. Chopsticks isn't enough. The toughest one yet has been a set of attachments for my drill, like magic eraser spinner, brush attachment, so forth. I got a question system that gets me there quick. Is it used outdoors? Is it movie/TV show related? Electronic? You can hone in quickly with the right set of questions. My GF this year is going to be stumped, but I say that every year. Then she asks like 2 questions and gets it. Every year my wife and I buy an ornament for our tree that corresponds with something that happened that year. So we have a tree filled with all of these weird wacky ornaments like a tennis ball. We started playing tennis that year. Swedish Chef Europe trip. Ship Captain Nutcracker our first cruise. Amongst many others. It's such a fun tradition in December to debate what we to get and then finding something and then reliving them all when we put them up. I'm assuming this year's ornament is a roll of toilet paper. We debated that or a mask, but decided we didn't want to remember that from this year. So instead we got a hiking shoe, since that had been pretty much our only activity this year. Every year we leave Santa a beer. He needs it. Santa also prefers Tekkit. Santa has rosy cheeks, a large belly, and talks to animals. Classic traits of alcoholism. My parents were broke when I was a kid, but you'd never know it from Christmas. They always went all out, put money on credit cards, etc. One Christmas we were particularly broke, but dad went out and spent probably most of his paycheck on last minute gifts. When we got home, my mom had been with us all day, and since there was no money, she hadn't gone food shopping. All we had were some cheap hot dogs and canned beans. My parents put the beans in a pot over the fire, grabbed the hot dog cooker from when we went camping, and threw the dogs on over the fire too. My sister and I loved it so much, we did it again the following Christmas. Eventually we weren't quite so poor. The $2 and P hot dogs became Nathan's, then Sabrats, then Butcher Bratwursts. The beans went to B&M, then eventually fancy gourmet shit. But my sister and I are now adults with our own families, and even on years where we are not together, our entire family has hot dogs and beans on Christmas Eve. We have quite a few. We open Christmas season by putting up the tree the day after Thanksgiving and watching Polar Express. We've done this for so long that my 20 and 17-year-olds have no memory of not doing it, and my 13-year-old has never had a Christmas where we didn't do this. My youngest and I make a list of holiday movies and keep track of all the ones we watch. We shoot for one movie a day starting December 1st up until Christmas, with some movies earmarked for specific days. We also watch as many holiday themed episodes of our favorite TV shows as we can. The weekend before Christmas is when we make hot cocoa, pile into the car, put on Christmas music, and drive around to look at light displays. December 23rd is cookie day. I get up early and spend the day baking. I always make way too much. The kids help when they get up. I watch A White Christmas in the morning, and we watch Christmas with the Cranks in the afternoon. This also happens to be the anniversary of my mom-in-law passing. We always buy a Christmas bouquet of flowers and tell stories about her. The kids were young when she died, so they have a foggy memory. They like to hear about her. She was an amazing grandma. Christmas Eve is when we hand out new pajamas and watch Home Alone. Home Alone is our favorite Christmas movie, so we cap off the season with it. Christmas Day is usually when I do this incredible BBQ brisket. This year we did that early in the month and are having a simple meat and cheese spread for Christmas Day. That way I can spend less time in the kitchen and more time playing board games and video games. For the past decade, Santa has made it a habit of bringing us all Steam gift cards and a huge stack of board games. Pajamas all day, good food, board games. It's perfect. Can I be a part of your family? My grandpa would always get up on the roof about an hour after our bedtime and stomp around on the roof with sleigh bells. My brother and I stay at my mother's house on Christmas Eve with our families every year. We still sit at the top of the stairs on Christmas morning until my mother tells us we can come down to the living room to see what Santa left us. We are both in our 30s and our wives and kids now sit on the stairs as well. It's getting pretty crowded, but I wouldn't have it any other way. My mom always made us wait at the top of the stairs so she could make sure Santa was really gone. Also, every year she'd say, well, the dogs sure were barking at something around to this morning. My husband and I celebrate Bookmas. On December 26th, we get all of the book money people sent us for Christmas and buy a giant stack of books. Then we go home, change into our PJs, and spend the day reading books, drinking hot chocolate, and eating some of the snacks people gave us for Christmas. Every Christmas the kids in the house have wrapping paper put over the entrances to their rooms, so they get to rip through it in the morning. It originally started as a way to keep a certain kid in when he kept coming out early and opening presents before everyone was awake. My husband's family did this too, except they would wrap the doorway to the living room and everyone would have to wake up, get dressed, and have a big sit-down breakfast before they could bust through the wrapping paper barrier and get to the presents. I cannot imagine how you could get 4 kids to be that patient, but somehow his mother managed it. My husband had a very tough upbringing, so we are trying to instill in our daughter how blessed she is to have the opportunities and experiences she does. Each year, we have to do a Christmas clean or a birthday clean. Each of us need to go through our things and donate the things we no longer need to someone else. The rules are, if you would be sad to receive that, you aren't allowed to gift it. Only because I don't want her thinking she can pass on her broken toys to someone else to get new toys. This year my daughter, who is 5.5, was able to complete her task alone. She went through her things and donated 8 brand new toys that would be of interest to her, still in the packaging, to a foster organization. She passed on 4 princess dresses that no longer fit her. I told her how proud I was of her for being so kind, and she said that she knows she's lucky, and she knows that her cousins aren't so lucky, so maybe some of the things she's gifted to other children can make it back to her cousins this year. Bonuses: my house doesn't fill up with things not being used. Thank you for the awards and such lovely comments. I'm sure many families out there have a similar tradition to share too. The tradition in our house was whatever you got for Christmas, you had to wear to the pub at lunchtime on Christmas Day. I've been to the pub in PJs, 4 pairs of socks, running vest and shorts, etc etc. Every year everyone in my immediate family buys each other a Christmas tree ornamented. Now our tree is covered with good memories that actually have meaning. Aha, my twist on this is to hold an ugly ornament party where everyone brings the most ridiculous / oddest ornament they could find purchased. No kids artwork allowed. After judging, everyone gets to take one home. I probably have enough now that they could have their own small tree. Not a family tradition as much as it's something that I just decided everyone has to do a few years ago. Everyone makes plates for someone else in the family. No one is allowed to get food and drinks for themselves. It reminds my kids that even little gestures show appreciation for those around you, and to not be selfish when it comes to making others feel loved. A tradition we had when I was a child, and one I'll be continuing with my children when I have them, is the Christmas Eve box. For Christmas Eve, we were given one gift early, and it was a box with Christmas pajamas, a mug, hot chocolate mix, popcorn, and a Christmas movie. We would get to open it around lunchtime, and we'd spend the rest of the evening in our new jammies, having cocoa and movies together. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe to my channel for more curated daily Reddit stories.